My name is Eric Lowder, your favorite realtor, aka Cloud E, or non-generic Eric, because I keep it real with you. Welcome to the Let's Get Real podcast, where I interview interesting, fun, and successful individuals who have devoted themselves to their craft in order to share with you, the audience, a real perspective of what people are actually doing in today's world to live happy, fulfilling lives. Today's guest is a seasoned leader in the real estate industry. With over 3 decades of experience under his belt, he's on a mission to drop some serious knowledge bombs for fellow agents looking to level up their careers. Top-rated instructor, multiple award winner, and co-founder of Echo Real Estate Partners, where they've closed a jaw-dropping 3,900 transactions, more than that. This guy's a real deal. Please help me welcome Branden Lowder to the podcast. Get a little excited, bro. Did you like that intro, man?
That was awesome, dude.
I
need you everywhere I go.
Man, you know,
Right?
I learned that from, do you know who Tom Bilyeu is?
No.
No, it's this guy, Tom Bilyeu. He does these fantastic introductions of his guests.
Love it.
So I was like, man, I need to start implementing that.
I love that.
So, Branden, I appreciate you being here. How you doing today?
I'm doing amazing, man. Just got out of your first-time investor seminar, so you did a crushing job, and I think that's going to take you places, and I think that's where you want to go.
Thank you, Branden. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
To let the audience know, I hosted a first-time investor workshop.
Yep.
We're educating first-time investors on how to do their first deal.
Yeah.
We had a nice little crowd here. We educated them on the loans, and it all kind of inspired me from your CIAS course, which I took, which we'll get a little bit more into, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I did want to just start off by just kind of sharing with the audience how you and I met, right? You never know where you're going to meet people, right? I started real estate 8 years ago, changed brokerages recently to KW South Bay, right? Which is where we are now.
Yep.
And first thing I just saw you, I remember seeing you around the office, right? And you could tell, man, by your walk, with your vibe, this guy's been around, you know what I mean?
Yep.
People know you here, you know? So, and I didn't really know you, and then
We call that senior swag.
senior swag.
Yeah.
I never heard that one. So I was like, okay, I see this guy around, and then you offered your course, the CIAS course, right? So I'm a certified investor agent specialist because of this course that Branden offers and other courses, right?
Yep.
And then I took your course. I saw how you taught us stuff for 2 days, and I was like, man, this guy's a real deal, right?
Yeah.
And then since then, you and I connected, and we just kind of we kind of realized that we're kind of trying to accomplish similar stuff with marketing and with what we know and what we're doing. I think I'm way earlier in my real estate path than you are,
Yep.
But we're trying to accomplish some safe stuff. And I was like, man, you know what? I think we should have you on the podcast, and that's kind of how you and I met, right?
Yeah, I appreciate it. And you teach. You've been in real estate as long as I have, and something I always find interesting is we ask each other, how long you been in real estate? I think it's the wrong question to ask a real estate agent.
Interesting.
Eric. I think I know people who've had a license for 30 years, but they've only done 5 deals.
Yeah.
Right? And then I know people who've been licensed for a year that have done 50.
Yeah.
So who has more experience?
Right.
Anyway, right? Just one of those little goofy things. I know I say my mind, so I hope that's okay on this podcast.
That's the point.
But what's great about the business is not just the amount of people you meet, right? That you're blessed to meet. I'm blessed that we have met as well. But when you teach a class, especially a high-level class, there are some unfortunate percentages where people just aren't going to be successful with it, and so you have to sometimes be okay with that. And it's great to have individuals like yourself in a class, because I know not only you found value in it, but you're going to take some of that and you're going to go make things happen, and that's why it's there.
Right. And thanks, Branden. I think there's a lot of, especially in real estate, just like seminar junkies, class junkies.
Oh, yeah.
I saw coming into Keller Williams how if you wanted to, you could spend all day in trainings.
Oh, man.
But when are you going to sell houses?
I taught a class in Reno, Nevada, Eric.
Yeah.
Let's say 2012-ish.
Okay.
And usually what happens when you're in those classes back in the day, short sales were a big thing, and that was one of the classes I was teaching, 2-day class. And what happens usually is, everyone lines up at the end and they shake hands and they hand you business cards. And I remember I had a group of real estate agents that were standing in line ready to thank me. And this one particular real estate agent, it was a postcard. And I thought he was handing me some marketing material. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, that's great marketing. He goes, no, that's my business card. And I was looking at, he had 40 designations on there.
Wow.
And to your point, my first question wasn't, how many deals did you sell? I was like, you've been taking school a long time.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, you're right.
To each his own. I mean,
Right.
It's the same thing even outside of real estate. I mean, how many friends do I have that went to college and don't use their degree? You know what I
100%.
mean? And they end up in something else. So it does kind of apply in general terms. It is a lot easier to sit in a class and feel like you did something a day
Right.
than maybe go take action on what you're actually supposed to do, get on the phones, talk to strangers, and get uncomfortable.
Well, and you have, you're subject to, as the student, you're subject to the content. Is it worthwhile?
Right.
Was the instructor effective? Right? Did he inspire? Did he give you some ideas? And could you leave there with some things to empower you to want to go do those things?
Right.
And I hope
Right.
I hope we bring that with the CIS.
Right. Well, you certainly did for me.
Yeah,
I mean,
perfect.
that's why I'm doing the seminar and stuff, and just a combination of your course, a combination of seeing all these people make all this money in real estate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I need to start getting a piece of that pie.
Yep.
So definitely, I'm hungry for real estate investors who want to work with me. All
Yeah.
right?
Good guy. Work with him.
Thank you, Branden. So I'm going to dive into a couple of these questions here. The first one is, can you share with the audience your story in your own words?
The short story is I got licensed in 1993. I was 24 years old. A small town in Arizona called Lake Havasu City.
Okay.
If you're not familiar with Lake Havasu City, you can go rent a Girls Gone Wild video and it'll kind of summarize it for you. But nonetheless, it was a great experience. I was selling vacant land. You could buy a lot or sell a lot for, $8,000, $9,000. Got paid 5% on that. So not a lot of money.
Right.
But in 1993, it was a great place to start. And I always knew I wanted to work for myself and not necessarily for the man, so to speak. And I got into real estate and just, wow, I was just amazed. And Lake Havasu was a great place to start, primarily because Arizona and that community was what we call pro-growth. We had two markets. We had a summer market, which were a majority of the Southern Californians that came out to play on the lake. And then we had what we call snowbirds, which were Midwesterners who didn't want to be in the cold and they wanted to live in a warmer community. And so Lake Havasu and Arizona in general fit both of those molds. So it meant really we didn't have any seasonality traditionally in what happens in some real estate markets. So we were busy 12 months of the year, just two different segments of the market. And
Gotcha.
I learned it all, vacant land sales, new construction, custom home building. And then I was blessed to actually meet a developer who came to Arizona and wanted to take a section of land. So in Arizona, you can buy a section of land, which is what's considered 1 mile square, which is 360 acres.
Okay.
So take that piece of dirt and turn it into a 400 home community.
Gotcha.
So I was blessed to learn all of those things.
So you sold him the land, and then you were with him throughout the development and stuff.
Well, so not necessarily I sold them the land, but I ended up working for the company that had the deep enough pockets to buy the land, and then I was part of the development process. So what's the style of home? Where's the demand? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? What should the architectural style look like? So I was involved in that start to finish, but really at the end of the day, my responsibility was all of the sales and the marketing and the training to help the staff or the salespeople when buyers come through. Hey, I want to build a home. What does that look like? And
that must have been a great learning experience.
It was crazy. Yeah. So the heyday was 2003. And at one point we had 17 new home communities, 250 houses under construction. We had 80, 90 salespeople that worked for us.
Wow.
So you learn a lot at that level, right? When we are in real estate, you work hard to get your first deal, then you want your second deal, and you want to do 5 deals. And that's great. That's where we want you to go.
Right.
But when you got 250 houses under construction, you see it at a completely different level.
Right.
And so that just kind of, I guess, helped build who I am a little bit.
So this is kind of like a KB Homes, kind of like a Leonard Homes,
little bit.
kind of development kind of projects.
Yep.
Gotcha.
The name of the company was Nationwide Homes.
Okay.
And then I had an opportunity to move to Southern California, which I did, and then I learned a whole nother way of doing real estate.
Right.
So that was,
it's not like that here, which you talk about seasonality. Yeah.
yeah. And the timing for me was I moved here when the Great Recession was happening, and so we learned foreclosures and short sales, and really that's what spawned getting into more of the investor world, because
Gotcha.
a majority of those buyers for those properties were also investors.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, and then built a team, and I've got an amazing wife and partner. She's on my team, Tammy.
Yeah. Shout out Tammy.
Yep. Shout out to Tammy. Without her, I wouldn't be here either.
Awesome.
She is an amazing part of our team and decision making, and yeah, super blessed.
Awesome. And how long have you been with Tammy?
Oh boy, she's probably gonna get mad if I don't say this correctly. So I think we're going 13, 14 years.
Oh wow, nice. You
somewhere
guys have
around there.
kids?
So she had 2 boys, I had 2 girls.
Okay.
We had a couple dogs, so it was like a little Brady Bunch thing.
Gotcha. I didn't know you had kids. Yeah.
Yeah, kids are all raised, and love you kids. 3 of the 4 already own their own homes.
Nice.
They're all graduated from college. Yeah, so yeah, dude, super blessed.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I love that, Branden. And how did you end up in the South Bay? Is that where you came to directly when you moved to SoCal?
Pretty much.
Okay.
When I first moved here, it was El Segundo.
Okay.
Then I met Tammy, and we've been in Redondo Beach ever since.
Gotcha. I love the South Bay, man.
It's
Something
cool.
about this area
Yeah.
I can't get over. I mean, when you figure out I've seen agents, when you figure out how to do business in this area, you don't need to go anywhere else.
You don't, and there's so many great things about California in general, right? But this area just is it's a great place to be.
Yeah, I love it, man. I have a couple people who live out of state, and their a cousin lives in Mississippi. He's like, dude, come live in Mississippi, man. My rent's freaking $500, you know?
Right.
And I'm like, great, but houses are selling for $50,000, and my commission is gonna be the same thing. I'd rather be here, SoCal by the beach, man, and not be covered in snow right now.
Right.
You know. So cool. I'm gonna dive into my first question here, my first official question, which is, what have been some key milestones or highlights in your 30-year career in real estate? Like, what are some key moments you remember that maybe made you pivot, made you change your strategy, or just special moments?
That's a great question. I think I'm a sponge. I like to learn. And I think one of the things that has helped me is a continually learning, because what it is that I'm learning, if it's done in a responsible way, in a non-ego or judgmental way, you're actually bringing value to the consumer. Meaning, I learned how to put more transactional business together. So if you look at it from the business perspective, I built the real estate business transactionally, but it wasn't one area of specialty. I learned seller financing. I learned how to, add value to a property, or we learned how to specifically work with foreclosures or short sales or the investors. So it's just been an evolution, really.
Gotcha.
And so I think really what maybe the catalyst was in 2010 when I learned how to go teach the CIS class.
Gotcha.
It was just brand new to the market. And what I quickly realized was when you get your real estate license, it's pick your farm, pick your neighborhood, and own it. And there is a lot of value in that. But in my travels of teaching from Portland, Maine to Seattle, Washington, I quickly realized, even on a big level, we all have it's the same house,
Right.
same process. You have buyers and sellers that have different needs. And I think when you can genuinely have an interest in wanting to help people, and then when you get into the transaction, if you can get good at making sure that a buyer and seller don't regret the outcome,
Right.
you're doing your job.
And Branden, I think those two things get mixed up, right? The transactional versus actually helping somebody,
Right.
Even myself as a realtor, I still consider myself very early, still trying to figure it out. You get I'm guilty of, I qualified a buyer today for 700,000. How much does my commission look?
Yeah,
You know what I
you
mean?
spend that money before it's closed, right?
2.5%. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
so you're looking at when you look at it that way, you're being transactional. But when you think about, no, I'm helping this family find a home.
Yep.
I'm helping them build an asset. You know, it does come back a certain way. And I'm seeing how people like yourself and other realtors that are more experienced, just like when they have that switch go off in anything they do,
Yep.
it comes back in a different way, you know? So I'm trying to, I still look at things transactionally. I think everybody does, even as a human, no matter what, but I'm trying to still learn how to, you know, do that at heart, you know?
But it's okay. You're running a business.
Right.
And I think it's okay that you're pre-qualifying somebody and you're trying to see, well, what's my potential earning, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think the line that gets crossed, Eric, is you got bills to pay.
Yeah.
And so when people are relying on your advice, if your advice is manipulating the outcome for your benefit, that's where I think the line gets crossed.
Right. Which, as real estate professionals, you can do.
Oh,
you
easy.
can,
the power you really have.
Because people trust you with all, you know, like I remember when I first got into business, I was 18 and I didn't quite realize how I was like, man, why is nobody buying a house for me? And I'm like, you know what? And then later on, I realized I'm like, dude, I was trying to tell somebody. I was 18 years old, saying, hey, trust me with your life savings,
right?
You know, so you know, and I was just trying to make some money. So you're right. It's people can manipulate it to their favor in real estate, but you know, you just got to be careful, you know, and have good intentions.
Yeah, and you got to make sure you're hanging out with the right people too.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're gonna absorb whatever you want. So a moment for you then. Back to the question is when you transition from realtor to now I'm gonna teach. Mm-hmm. So what inspired that decision? I mean, was there like an influence maybe that made you want to do that?
I think I'd been pretty much doing it. So like yourself, I started young, and I had to earn my way. Right. Most of the people that I was in business with, meaning other real estate agents, most of my clientele were twice my age.
Yeah.
So how do you earn that trust and faith? So what's cool about wanting to go teach is if you care, to your point, and if you don't want to be a hypocrite, then you take ownership of the information that you're teaching and you make sure you're doing the same thing, right?
Right.
Practice what you preach.
Right.
Sort of thing. And so I quickly realized that there was power in it in a lot of different ways. And so in Keller Williams, as an example, one of the things you'll learn is that we talk about the 6 personal perspectives and self-mastery. And so how do you really master something? Mm-hmm. And what would you say? How would you answer that? How do you know you're a master of something? Repetition.
I think Bruce Lee, same kick 1,000,000 times versus.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one way.
How about your ability to actually teach it?
And that's what I was gonna get to.
Right.
Right now, teaching this class, like I got that field manual from the course. I'll be honest, I didn't look at it very much.
That's okay.
But
it's a lot.
When I started putting together this slideshow, realizing that I'm gonna have to teach this stuff. I realized that over the past couple of weeks, I read maybe at least half of that stuff, just kind of intaking it, and now repeating it and teaching it again, it helped me master it.
Yep, and you have to. And then you add, like I said, if you care, you understand the responsibility you have as a teacher, or you should have, then the audience changes it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have people who are brand new who are looking at you like, you know everything.
Right.
But then you got somebody with 30 years experience going, yeah, I don't know if that's right. But they're not going to necessarily call you out on it, right?
Right.
Well, and it's good. So I think if you come from a place of curiosity and you get just out of judgment, you just recognize that I like it or I don't like it. Maybe this is my calling or it's not. Am I helping people? How do I gauge whether I'm helping people or not? And is there ego involved? Sure. Do I like people to say, hey, that was amazing and that was cool. It was the greatest thing I've ever done. Yeah, 100%.
Right. We're human.
That validates at least what you're trying to do. But I think really at the end of the day, it always comes back to the satisfaction of helping someone buy or sell real estate.
Right.
It's
So
awesome.
that was it. Your deeper, genuine interest of becoming even more of a real estate master led you to say, I got to teach this stuff to other people also.
Yeah, right. How do you help more people?
Right.
The only way you're going to help more people is to learn more things
Yeah.
and have options.
Yeah, and you got to think about that knowledge that's being trickled down, right? You have it, you trickled it down to these realtors who trickled it down to their clients, and
Right.
that's really a massive way to help people.
Yep.
Gotcha. I love that. I love that. And so now let's go over kind of what you have. You have the CIAS, you got verified. There's there's like 4 or 5.
Yeah. So Verified is a great product. So the Certified Investor Agent Specialist, we teach CDPE, which stands for Certified Distressed Property Expert.
Okay, I saw that one.
And that's a class that helps real estate agents work in the distressed space, helping people avoid foreclosure as an example. Property Pricing Specialist is a class that we wrote. We teach agents how to really, I think, more effectively teach pricing strategy, understand appraisals, things like that. Then we have Certified Negotiation Expert, another 2-day course.
Right.
We concentrate on how to effectively negotiate.
Gotcha.
One of the things that I kid real estate agents about is, especially in a multiple offer situation, sometimes it's the highest offer that wins. And I want you to realize that if you're the highest offer, anybody can be the highest. There's no negotiating there.
Right.
It's a different deal. So all of those things, Eric, have put me in a better position.
Right. Gotcha.
So it takes time to do it. But if you're in this for the long haul and you want to make a career and a business out of this, you do ultimately need to understand all of those things better than most, because that's why people are going to draw to you. They're going to say, hey, I'm going to call Eric because he knows and understands the opportunity when it comes to a buy and hold. He understands the math, and I'm going to lean on him to help me understand it.
I'm really interested in the distressed property one.
Okay.
I don't know if you're still actively doing that.
We're
one.
doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to do that one. That's kind of like, that makes sense to me to do that one
Yeah.
next. Branden, I want to say I do want to get some clips out of this for your CIAS class. So can you go over maybe 2 or 3 things, key points that you go over in that course, so that way we can snip that and make it a reel for you?
Yeah, boy, that's going to be a hard one. There is a lot in that class, isn't there?
A lot. I mean, it was like 2 days worth, But what's like 2, 3 good points that
Right.
maybe people can take away and make them more curious about learning more?
So I think first and foremost, most real estate agents don't own a home or invest in real estate. So it's a great opportunity for you to learn the responsible way to invest in real estate yourself. Secondly, real estate investing is everywhere, and it's almost a bulletproof business, meaning it doesn't necessarily matter what's going on in the market, or a real estate investor isn't as affected of what's going on in the market like a traditional buyer and seller.
Okay.
You learn the math, you learn how to build the business, and you learn a lot of the strategies around helping people that you know and love understand the benefits long-term of investing in real estate, when we, I think, have a good idea that Social Security and our retirement plans might not satisfy our ability to retire. So
Right. And I mean, and just like going off of like the table of contents on the manual, right? You're going over how to find investors, what kind of investors you're looking for, right? How to locate deals for them.
Yep.
And where to get the money. You blew me away with the self-directed IRAs. I had no idea that existed till that course. So all that stuff is valuable,
Right.
So I hope this podcast could maybe lead a couple people to be more curious. And what I'm going to actually do is say Opus Clip AI, testing it out with my voice right now. Hopefully it catches that.
Yeah, that's great. And I want to learn that as well. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you bringing that to the forefront for me.
Yeah. So maybe because I'm saying it, the AI is going to catch
Yeah.
it in the video because it catches it. So pretty interesting stuff, man. That's a whole other conversation with AI. But AI, though, Branden, now that we're on it, I've been talking about it lately with my podcast guests.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to change in the real estate industry in, say, the next 10 years? Because it's advancing like crazy.
It is, right? And it's like a lot of things. Sometimes it can overrun us.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can intimidate us. Eric, you can go in the MLS and read a property description from a listing agent, and you just go, wow, it could be written better.
Yeah.
So there's an example, right? I think AI has the ability to help us in a lot of different ways, help us demonstrate to a seller, I'm listing your home. I'm going to bring the right buyer. I'm going to get the most amount of money that I possibly can for you. And I think most real estate agents don't even realize the first opportunity that you have to influence someone is your property description.
Right.
That's what people read.
Right.
And so if you can, and we teach this in the negotiating class, if you can learn how to influence people the right way and invoke the emotion, because people make buying decisions emotionally, they justify it logically. But we put the logic so much in the front. Here's the price. Let me ask you this. If you wanted to date and you got on eHarmony, what are you doing? You're looking at pictures and the description of somebody.
Right, right.
You're doing it anyway. So if your description and your photos suck, you're probably not going to pick that person to ask them out on a date, right?
Exactly.
Real estate works the same way.
Yeah.
And so if I'm going to do a service to the seller, I want to leverage as much as I can technology-wise. And that could be AI in the photography. It could be just hiring the right photographer. But I think those descriptions and how maybe we show up, if we can leverage AI to make us sound better and look better, then sometimes we're not good at it.
How much time, Branden, have you been there freaking coming up with a property description and going, let me rephrase that. Now you just type in some bullet points and it gives it to you.
Yeah.
The thing is that you can see right through it. You could tell it's AI generated. So you still have to give it but you can also go and make it more casual.
Right.
And it makes it more casual and it sounds more human.
I don't spend any time on it. You know why?
Why?
Because I have Tammy.
Yeah, there you go.
Tammy is the expert at the property description, but she'll spend hours at it because she knows how important
it is.
Right, that aspect is. To your point of how to pay attention, you still have to edit.
Yeah.
It still has to sound like it's genuine.
For sure.
I was at a conference, and we were in leadership. You're talking about you hire people, right? Resumes. I was taught one of the first questions you should ask now a new interviewee is, if there was one thing, Eric, on your resume you would change, what would it be? And the reason is there's so many people who copy and paste and use AI, they don't even know what it says.
Yeah.
And so if you want to validate whether they have any skin in the game or whether they wrote anything, ask them that question. Hey, what if you could change something right now, what would it be? So you think about
that's a good curveball.
Technology, right? So I think our value add should be, listen, we got to leverage technology the right way. We need to understand how it can make us more efficient,
right?
Better real estate agents, bring more value to our clients. Like I think we need to do a better job.
Yeah, it's gonna enhance things, but it can't replace us. I think.
No,
you
don't want it to.
Yeah, you don't want it to. I think another big thing that AI is gonna do is research. It's gonna make research so much easier.
Yep.
You know, how much research do you have to do when you're analyzing an investment property? You know what I mean? And when you're thinking about the zoning and the costs and everything else. ChatGPT is able to search the web for you now. So, I have all those lots listed. I was trying to look up exactly what you could do on there with the zoning, and I was able to do that through ChatGPT.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I was like, I have this property, this size, this is the zoning. What can I build? And it didn't give me like a super precise response.
It give you a general idea.
It gave me a general idea.
Yeah.
It gave me some links. It said, here, check this website, call this number. Right. And so it just takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. So I think research purposes with AI is going to be huge. And that's just for like information, right? We just talked about a creative way that AI is going to take over stuff. And, would you agree with the statement that real estate is at least 50% a marketing job?
At least,
right?
Yeah.
And for me, I have the most fun with the marketing.
Right.
That's where you get creative and stuff, and then that's when AI can really do a lot for you.
Yeah.
I was thinking about even as simple like my headshot. Like, man, I kind of want a new headshot, and I'm seeing AI could just do that with AI, and I just grab a little casual picture and it'll do it for you. So a lot of big changes come into real estate, the world with AI, that I'm super excited about. But I'm gonna move on to another question here for you, Branden. Let me see.
Can it be multiple choice? Can you give me a multiple choice question?
I'm trying to find a good one here that kind of relates to what we've been talking about.
Okay. You can chat GPT it right now.
Yeah. I kind of did already.
I love that.
Okay, and this one is kind of like it's like about the team, because a lot of realtors, I think, come into the business and they think they need to start a team, you know,
Sure.
and they don't really actually need to, you know. I think it's just kind of something they want to do or they think they should do.
Yep.
So like as a co-founder of a top producing real estate team that's actually been successful, what do you think are like some key factors that made you guys successful? Not allowed, you know, there's you successful as an agent, but then running a team is something else. Like, what are some of those key factors for you as a leader that helped you guys thrive?
So the basic part of it is if you want to scale and grow. In other words, we're in a great area with a great price point. But let's just say I want to make $1 million in GCI. So if you reverse engineer it, Eric, and based on the average commission and all the things involved, let's just say it's 45 transactions that I have to close. So the next thing is, well, what can you physically do, right, on your own? So the first thing I think is you got to establish what does that look like, that leverage, what's that threshold, what's that insanity, I can't do it anymore level.
Right.
And you might not know. So I think, you know, the question is when and how do I figure that out? Well, I think you got to learn how to make money first.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to be a team leader if you don't even know how to run real estate the right way to begin with. So
Right.
I had at least gotten to that place.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get to this, you see other people and you see the awards and you see the recognition and you go, how in the world do I get to 1 million GCI? So you quickly realize you got to have support.
Yeah.
And that can come in a lot of different ways. So I will say each team is unique in how they build their business or where they're trying to take their business. And the question becomes, did they offer what it is they're doing to the agent who is potentially wanting to join the team? Is there clear understanding and a definition of what that looks like?
Right.
Ours was unique because it was very investor heavy. So we were remodeling a lot of homes as an example. So we had really pretty expensive product back on the market.
Yeah.
And to recruit, that was easy.
Right.
I want to do your open house. I want to do, right. But again, growing the team, running the business is more than just doing the open house. It's learning how to leverage the open house for new business too.
Right.
And we would want, if Eric was on our team, we want you to understand your responsibilities, the expectations. We'll teach you how to do this and grow your own business. But we're okay with you having your own identity, but some teams don't operate that way.
Right. And it trickles down from the top, I think, when it comes to a team. Because I've been on real estate teams where there's a lot of partying going on.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was fun as a 21-year-old.
Priorities are a little off.
Yeah, but the priorities were a little bit off, you know, and after a while, I mean, you start to realize that's not how you want to do it, you know. But I've obviously seen other teams where just how it trickles down from the leadership, even in ways that it's all energy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's all energy. Even the way the leader, you know, their morals, their values, and even what they do when people are not around, somehow those energy, all that trickles down into how your team performs.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and to be fair, the team for us has always been a struggle. You know, you're dependent on people, and they're dependent on you. And as an example, I might not be the best team manager, but I'm a business developer, and like you like marketing. Well, I like putting deals together, and
Yeah.
so I could stir up the dust. So we struggled for quite some time trying to find the right team and making sure we were providing to them just as much as they were, you know, helping us grow. So it's not always an easy thing to do. So if you're wanting to build a team, my recommendation is that you have a good understanding of the type of business that you want and where you want it to go so that you're recruiting the right team members.
Right.
And if you're wanting to be on a team, it's almost the same. You need to have a good understanding of what type of real estate business you want and make sure that you're joining the right team that can accomplish that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a puzzle, right? And you got to fill in your piece. I think a lot of people, I mean, in real estate, you do have to kind of wear a lot of hats. And I think when you find people to help you with those roles, it becomes a lot easier, you know, because it's a lot. It's a lot.
And you have to, it's such a, this industry is so across the board challenging. And what I mean by that, Eric, is as a team owner, you want to have not just the right team, but you don't necessarily want to teach them everything and then they leave you.
Right, that's a struggle in itself.
You know, and you don't want to be the agent joining a team where you feel like you're doing all the work and you're not getting anything. So it's like any other relationship, partnership. You really have to spend some time and make sure you have good communication and clarity, and you have to be okay that people come and go and they grow, because maybe it's not a good fit, or
Right.
maybe they got into real estate and they're excited and they joined a team because there's benefits to joining a team, and then they realize maybe real estate isn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
So we, leadership, it doesn't matter the brokerage, it doesn't matter if you're a trainer, a mentor, or a coach. You meet a lot of new real estate agents that you want them to succeed, but you don't get paid for that. So there's a lot of time and energy as a team owner, as an example, you put into helping agents succeed, and it doesn't always happen.
Yeah, you sometimes want it more than they do.
Yeah. And on the flip side, when you're joining the team, you might not realize how much effort is put into getting you there, and then you leave for whatever reason, and there's a lot of time and energy spent with maybe no monetary result, and that gets frustrating.
Yeah. What's that quote? Two business partners are like, well, what if we train all our people and they leave?
Right.
And then the other partner's like, well, what if we don't train them and they stay?
Yeah.
And that's the struggle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for us, it was always, I say secret sauce, but we're a unique team in that we're very highly trained in negotiation and investors and distress. So there's some niches that we're really good at.
Yeah.
And there isn't a doubt in my mind we've had people want to join the team to learn those things so that they can just go do it themselves. And
Right.
I get it.
Right.
It comes with the trade.
And it all comes back though, right? Like I went to a seminar this week, 2-day listing agent boot camp. There's a successful team called Angel and Patty out in Whittier area, and they kill it. They do like 200 deals a year. And I went, and this guy Angel, he was just so open to sharing everything. Right, he has a course called the Listing Agent, and I bought it, and I've been going through it, and I'm like, he's spilling. It seems like everything. I'm sure there's some stuff he's not.
Maybe, yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, and I asked him, I'm like, why are you doing that? And he's like, because I'm just gonna help agents, and it's just gonna come back. You know.
Yep.
So I'm like, I guess coming back to what we were talking about earlier is you just gotta be willing to genuinely help people, and it's gonna come back.
Remember when we were talking earlier about, if there's 20 agents in your class, you're lucky if 5 of them actually go do it.
Right.
So to the point of showing up for this listing workshop, and Angel is offering all of these things. So sometimes you have to be okay helping, knowing no one's really going to end up being your competition anyway.
Right. Because nobody's going to do it like you.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but you can't have 100% of the business either.
Right.
But it does ultimately come twofold. I still, I've been teaching since 2010. In going, Keller Williams has family reunion, right, as their big convention. I love showing up. I haven't seen an agent in 3 years. They took my class 3 years ago, but there's that love, there's that connection, there's that, right? And I know 10 years from now, I'll see you somewhere and it'll be the same thing. And
right.
So I think when you do always come from a place of helping, because you could say the same with your clients.
Yeah.
That, they use you for information all the time, and maybe
that's true.
Right? They asked me all these great questions, and I gave them all this information, and they still hired you, Eric.
Yeah, it's happened to me.
Yeah.
It's not a great feeling.
Yeah.
Are you going to family reunion this February?
No, we don't. We're not going to be able to go. I'm actually teaching CIS that week.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
Are
you going to go?
I think I should. I mean, I haven't ever gone to a big real estate convention.
I know how you like to get fired up.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
You're going to go there, the energy, the things you learn, the people you meet. I think it's a smaller world than you realize when you get into real estate. But the connections you make, and again, if you're going to make a career out of this, dude.
Yeah. I know for sure I'm sticking to it, man. It's let me ask you, Branden, what was your upbringing like? Did you know anybody in real estate like before you got into it, or?
I don't think so. I didn't grow up in money.
Yeah.
My mom and dad work hard. They're married 56, 57 years. Thankful for that. I'm thankful for the foundation. So between that and school, I really genuinely wasn't taught anything that I know today.
Gotcha.
But that doesn't make me bad or any worse.
Right.
I didn't graduate college. I went 2 years to college. I don't have that degree. I've only known how to work.
Right.
I started when I was 9. I had a paper route,
Yeah.
but I had the right dad. And if you're not familiar with how a paper route works, just so you know, you get a bundle of papers in the morning early, and you got to get up early, and you got to fold them all and put a rubber band around them, and you have to go deliver those papers, and you do that every day, and once a month you got to show up and collect.
Yeah.
The right. So the only money I really was able to make was tips. But my dad taught me, Eric, how to make tips, and it was simple. Everybody got their paper on their front porch, and when I went to collect, if they didn't tip me, they got their paper under their car until they learned how to tip me.
I like that, man. Little tips like that.
Right.
And the reason I asked about your upbringing, Branden, because I think it's important that people realize that getting it like yourself is like the sweetest thing,
Sure. Look at your story, right?
Yeah. And I think for me, that's a big part of what this podcast is about, how people have devoted themselves to their craft.
Yep.
And now they're living happy, fulfilling lives, and the pattern that I notice from people is that the people that get it from the bottom, that work for it completely, seem to just be a little happier, seem to enjoy it a little more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've also met people who, have gotten a handout, which is nothing fine with that. I mean,
sure.
I'm trying to set up my kids so they have it easy, but it's just something about getting on your own. It just tastes a little better,
Totally. And I think there's a lot to be said with having a desire to want to do it, maybe do it right.
Yeah.
And to your point, get to that place where you have something that you can provide or offer.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been a big deal for me, like having my brothers and my dad
at
this thing today. Because I don't know if they truly understood everything that was going on, but they see Eric's doing this. And I really hope that for them, it shows them there's a higher bar. There's a expectation that you guys can do it too, and to me, that's like probably one of the most special reasons why I want to work, and just to set that higher standard, for the other people coming along.
Yeah. Or have a, something to aim for.
Exactly.
Exactly. Life is tough enough.
It is.
And it doesn't matter your age bracket or your income bracket.
Yeah.
Right?
It's hard for everybody,
it's
for
hard
sure.
For everybody, yep.
So Branden, I got one more question here of my interview segment. Then we're going to go wrapping up. So looking back at your journey now, what advice would you give your younger self when you were just starting out in real estate?
That's a great question, dude. Wow.
Would you change anything?
That's a trick question, because would I be the person I am today if I changed anything? I don't know the answer to that.
Interesting.
I would 100% do a better job of taking care of my family. I would 100% do a better job of investing.
Okay.
I was always good at making money, but not necessarily doing the right thing. And it's weird as you get older, because when you get that chance to reflect, I think so. So not much I would change, because I think I like who I am. I'm proud of who I am. Could I be better? Always.
Yeah.
But I probably could have set myself up a little better.
Gotcha. I noticed that that's similar in a lot of realtors. They go, should have kept a little more money, or kept a couple more properties. And I really, as a young realtor, I really gotta notice that and apply it, because
Right.
Simon said something very similar.
Yeah, you had asked me earlier what changed moving here.
Yeah.
It just reminded me, we do have a little bit more awareness here of how you look, what you drive, kind of clothes, that kind of stuff. And I know, not growing up in money, as you make money, you have to try things, right? I've had the nice cars, I've had all the stuff. And I think, again, I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed that satisfaction. Like I said, it's okay to do that within limitations, but here it's a little different.
Yeah.
So I think Tammy and I made one of our intentions was to get out of debt, and we did a pretty good job of that. But It doesn't mean it's still not there.
Yeah.
And when you start investing and using leverage, you still kind of have debt. You know, in the business that we've been in real estate, we haven't always made money on deals, you know, and so being smart about how you invest and money makes people funny.
Mm-hmm.
Usually when people are making money, they don't complain about anything. And when you're not making money, it creates a hardship.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to learn from those things and continue to just push forward and make sure you're doing the right thing and can sleep at night.
I'm taking that deeply, Branden. Congratulations on your success.
I'm not there yet.
I think you're successful. I see you that way, bro.
I appreciate that.
So some of my first wrap-up segment here is we go to your first Instagram post. We go all the way down to your first Instagram post. And this is yours.
Wow. Look at that. Look at that mug shot.
So what's going on here? It's a picture of Branden just smiling, saying, "Friends and family, I'm now using this channel to take you to a new avenue of my career. I'm excited to share more with you. Stay tuned."
That's crazy. So,
what's going on here? What do you remember about this?
I had just gotten into leadership at Keller Williams.
Okay.
And I was a team leader for LA Westside.
Okay.
And, you know, I've never been one to be in front of the camera. I don't necessarily consider myself to be photogenic, that whole thing. And our great leadership team at the time, Tammy was like, "Hey, we need to get some headshots. We need to start doing a better job."
Yeah.
And so the team photographer said, "Let's go take some shots." So I was in West Hollywood and we just kind of cruised around the area, and I was amazed. He took like 400 different photos. And that was the one Tammy picked and said,
Nice.
"Hey, this is what we're going to start with." So
It's a good one. Less gray hairs, huh?
I had a longer beard. Man, I used to have a beard down to here.
Really?
Yeah, I used to show up at the holiday parties with ornaments in my beard.
Oh, that's sick.
Back in the day.
That's a whole maintenance thing on its own, huh?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to have a beard that long anymore.
You had your fun with it.
Yep.
Cool, man. So that's your first Instagram post. Now we have a rapid fire question segment. So it's just going to give people the little bit more insight on you personally. So just answer these with the first thing that comes to mind, okay?
Yep.
First one, going out or staying in?
Is there a football game involved?
Yes, probably.
Rapid fire. That wasn't a rapid fire. Staying in.
Okay. So describe your style in 1 to 5 words.
Minimalistic, sort of trendy.
All right. That one's unique. I've never heard that one.
Okay.
Go-to fast food spot.
In and out.
I have the same one. Overspending or oversaving?
Overspending.
Your current favorite music artist? Who are you listening to a lot nowadays? Who are you gonna play in the car on the way home?
Well, they're not new though, so I'm like a retro. So
Just whoever you're.
my go-to right now, Linkin Park.
All right, cool. So you like rock?
I like it all.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay. Hip hop? You like hip hop?
You been in my office, dude? Like it just rotates, man. I
Yeah.
got worship going, country going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of
right.
different stuff. Finish this phrase. The way to my heart is.
Whiskey.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Last couple little wrap up sections here. Questions here. What are your big goals for the next 12 months?
Big goals is to get more traction with the training company, get CIS out there, get verified out there. They're game changers. I know it. I know what they do to our business. I know what they can do to your business. So I'm on that mission to help change lives.
Connect with Branden on his amazing courses, guys.
Please.
Okay. Any shout outs or acknowledgments?
Yeah. First, Tammy, wouldn't be here without you. You're the love of my life. You helped me in so many different ways, and I never thank you enough. So this is my opportunity to do that one time. My family, you know, the kids. I'm a granddad.
You're a grandpa?
I'm a grandpa.
I had no idea.
Yeah, Michael Thomas. Shout out to Michael Thomas if you ever get to watch this, buddy. You know, I'm grateful for everyone that has just been a part of my life. I really am.
Beautiful, beautiful. I got a shout out. Shout out Gmoe behind the camera.
Yeah,
That's
Gmoe.
my brother. Okay, and last thing, where can people follow you or learn more about you?
So the correct spelling of my name is Branden, Branden.
Yeah.
Last name is pronounced Lowder, Lowder. Just yell louder. You just got to Google that.
Okay.
So CIAS designation.com. I don't even know what my channels are. What's my channel on Instagram?
Your Instagram is just your name.
Okay. Or you can, yeah.
Yeah. Or
Just call me. Don't call me Collect.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, Branden, that's it for me. I appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, man.
I hope somebody gets something good out of it. I think there's going to be some good clips out of it. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I wanna thank you, dude. Thanks for coming in my life. Thanks for hanging out. I have high expectations of you. So
Thank you.
Don't fail me.
All right.
And keep doing what you're doing and constantly give back. It'll come back to you and you'll be very appreciative of it. So thank you.
I'm looking forward to being around, Branden.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys. This is the Let's Get Real podcast. My name is Eric Lowder, your favorite realtor, aka Cloud E or non-generic Eric, because I keep it real with you. I'll see you guys next time.